Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to a very special Three Amigos themed episode of This Week in Canada. My name is Roberto Wakefield-Cruz. Thank you so much for joining me once again on a very fantastic episode that we're bringing to you by the Post Millennial. Before we get started, you should go and check out the links below. Check out the Post Millennial's membership options and become a member. Get no ads on our website. It's an easier way to find your news from a reliable source that you trust where I work. It supports the show too. Another way to support the show is go on to our Rumble and check us out there. It's like YouTube without the scary tech monopoly threatening to ruin your life and shadow banning you like they did here. But without any more negativity, let's just jump into the news because, hey, it's a very festive episode. Like I said, Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister that we all know and love, and that we've reelected now twice in Canada, is meeting Joe Biden and the Mexican guy. If you know the name of the Mexican guy, I'll give you a second to try to think of it. He's the president of Mexico. His name is AMLO, okay? If you knew that, you're lying. You probably Googled it, or you're half Mexican like me. Or full Mexican if you're a full Mexican that watches this show. I don't know why that would be a thing, but I'm sure there's probably one out there. Anyhow, his name is Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, and he's the Mexican president. He's been the Mexican president now for less than 6 years. You see, Mexico has this thing that they instilled during the revolution, after the revolution, right, against Spain, where they're like, okay, any Mexican president, you can only serve one term, one sesero. Well, it's a 6-year term, and you can't serve any more after that. You can't run for office after that. You can't do anything after you become president. This was an anti-corruption kind of thing, but what it's ended up happening is causing a lot of problems where nobody can really build on any success of their predecessors. So now you have a country like Mexico that it has had a rocky start and a rocky history for basically its entire existence, unable to create any progress with any incumbents, any presidencies stacking off each other. This isn't This Week in Mexico, so let's just jump into the show. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Justin Trudeau met with Joe Biden. It wasn't really clear if Biden was going to show up to the press conferences. He kind of put out a statement saying no, Jack, I'm just kind of going to chill out and not do the pre-press meeting kind of stuff. But no, he showed up, to which they, Justin Trudeau and Biden, once again, we've seen them do this time and time again. This is the 5th international meeting that they've had this year since Biden got into office. There was the COP26 and some other dumb, useless kind of multinational song and dance to make sure that we know that we're all working together. So they just kind of smelt each other's farts for about 10 minutes. Joe Biden was talking, hey, nobody, Canada and the U.S., it's the easiest. We should just make out, man. We're the best friends in the world. And Justin Trudeau is just saying we got to work on the environment. Nobody works harder on the environment than me and Joe Biden. Okay. So the whole meeting is just kind of this, them trying to crock up new schemes on how to just destroy the middle class while just under this false pretense that they're actually trying to expand and empower regular people. You know how this works. It's a bunch of malarkey, as Joe Biden would say. So what happened? Was there anything eventful? Well, no, not really. The whole thing was kind of just people agreeing with each other until the topic of electric cars came up. Wow, I didn't think this was going to be such a touchy thing, but let's roll a clip of Joe Biden being asked several times about the electric battery, the electric-powered car tax that Canada is trying to implement. That has been called a blow to the gut by the Canadian government. So let's roll that.
Mr. President, can I ask you a question about your tax incentives for electric vehicles that would be assembled in the United States? The Canadian government says that would be a violation of the new trade agreement we just signed. Are you going to consider a carve-out for Canada, given the fact that our auto industries are so integrated?
We're going to talk about that to some extent.
No.
Is it possible to make changes for Canada?
I said we're going to talk about that. We haven't even it hadn't even passed yet through the House. We're about to see that move, and we don't know what will happen in the Senate. But there's a lot of complicating factors, we're going to talk about the budget.
I like how at one point Joe Biden just says, I don't know. Stop asking me. We haven't talked about it yet. We're going to figure it out. So that's kind of fun. Who did Justin Trudeau bring up with him? Well, as you know, last time when he went to the old Scottish festival, the Scottish Environmental Festival, he brought like 300 people. It was the biggest crew out of anybody that went to the COP26. This time he just decided to bring his closest friends. Melanie Joly, who, as we've talked about a couple weeks ago, is one of the most inept persons that's ever been elected to anything, including class presidencies. And Chrystia Freeland, who you can tell is probably a little bit competent and maybe a little very politically sharp. But she just has the most grating voice in the world. And as I've discussed, it's not sexist to say that women have, as one woman can have a grating voice. If you want my position on this, you can email me. I'll explain it to you. But Justin Trudeau, later on in the night, following all the meetings, following all the hoopla, went and told the press. And then you just see, and this is something that drives me nuts, and I'm sure you guys have probably noticed it because this has been a thing for years. But it's when the prime minister, this one, does a press conference and he has people behind him. So this time it was Melanie Joly and Chrystia Freeland. And the whole time that Justin Trudeau's talking, they're just like, wow, he's killing this shit. Like, wow, he hasn't made a bad point once. Isn't that nuts how this guy is just right about everything? And then Justin Trudeau's up there just, trying to kill. He's just doing it. He's just hitting all the talking points, talking about how we need to work on a multilateral kind of thing and how we need to basically become like this North American unit to counter China, and that anything that's good for the U.S. or bad for Canada, it's all the same. We're all playing the same game. The same shit that we hear time and time again. Well, at least those guys can agree, right? Because I wanted to change topic a little bit. I want to talk about a certain senator named Denise Batters. Whereas the Liberals have this illusion of cohesiveness where everyone just agrees with Justin Trudeau and goes, yeah, wow, what a smart guy. He's so smart. I know I can't disagree with him or I'll get kicked out of the party. The Conservatives have this totally opposite problem where the people in the party go, I'm going to disagree with you, Aaron O'Toole, and then get kicked out of the caucus. So what happened this time is Denise Batters, she was appointed as a senator by Stephen Harper in, I believe, 2013 or 2012. She decides to say, hey, Aaron O'Toole, you're not representing the Conservative Party anymore. Your views don't align with the Conservative Party views that we all know and love from, whenever the party was founded not too long ago, 20, 30 years ago, to now. I'm going to start a petition to kick you out. This was obviously not met well. The response wasn't great from people in conservative MP world. Michelle Rempel-Garner, MP who I think does a pretty good job, I respect her and her opinion enough, said that the Liberals were popping champagne over the amount of controversy that this would cause on Twitter and in media world, which she was right. The CTVs, the Post Millennials, the CBCs, everybody ran with the story that the senator, because it's juicy, gossipy news, the senator is speaking up against Aaron O'Toole and saying that he has to, they should conduct a leadership review to kick him out, essentially. So what does Aaron O'Toole do? Well, he just comes in and puts down the hammer, basically just says, hey, you're out of the caucus. There's no way that you're sticking around. He's just flaunting he's like just flexing on everybody. There was the guy, I think was his name. He was maybe a month ago, tried to do a similar thing. Said, hey, this anti-China message is coming off pretty harsh. We're going to try to start a petition. And then Aaron O'Toole, same thing. Bam, you're out of here. Get out of here. Nobody questions me. And then, he gets on a stump interview. They're like, so what's going on with kicking everybody out? Is there like a party crisis? Are you telling me there's a unity crisis? Because just recently, Mr. O'Toole, you said there was no unity crisis. O'Toole now assures us that there's no unity crisis in the party, but it does bring up a very important question that I already know the answer to for these viewers here. Where do you fall on this divide in the Conservative Party? Has the shift to the center isolated you so much from the Conservatives that you would never consider voting for them again, as they are trying to say is the correct option, as O'Toole is, quote, the only man for the job that can beat Justin Trudeau? A lot of talks around party unity that are not particularly inspiring. They're trying to hide their cracks, it feels like to me. It's not a good time for the Conservative Party. Or are you on the kind of, we have to stand behind our leader. We have to make sure that we seem like a united cohesive unit in order to defeat Justin Trudeau. F Justin Trudeau, by the way. I just wanted to end this episode on this story here. This family from the Niagara region said that, hey, you know what? I effing hate Justin Trudeau. F Justin Trudeau. F Canada Leaf CK Trudeau. So, F Trudeau. Anyway, they got told that this was illegal. Apparently, there was enough complaints in the Niagara region, and some nerd, some lawyer, or some, lawmaker, some judge or something, just went to the books and goes, actually, that's illegal. You're not allowed to have a flag with any vulgar messages on it. And now this poor guy who's just trying to basically crack jokes has to take down this flag. Is that not... I thought you could... Okay, you could put up a lawn sign for, any candidate you want. I would argue if you put up a conservative lawn sign, you're basically already putting up an F Trudeau sign. So, what's the deal? You can't express... Okay, it's a little vulgar. Could you say F O'Toole? Could you say F Singh? What if you had all three? What if you said F Singh, F O'Toole, and F Trudeau all on the front lawn? That would just confuse everybody. But is that illegal? Is the problem the F word? Should you say screw? I don't know. Let me know what you think. And let me know what you think about Rumble. Rumble is such a cool website. Wow, you should check us out on Rumble. The Post Millennial is on Rumble, and the Post Millennial Clips, where you can find all the latest breaking news in video format. Honestly, I use the Post Millennial Clips more than I use the Post Millennial on Rumble. So check us out there. Plenty of good stuff. All of this content and more. Ari has a great show. Ari Hoffman, the Hoff father, just spoke to President Trump. He speaks to a lot of cool people, a lot more cool people than I do. So check him out. And make sure you check out the other thing that I'm supposed to mention, the memberships, the Post Millennial memberships, where you can sign up for as little as $5 a month on a membership. It helps the show drastically, and it helps our whole operation run. Sorry again for this very lame setup. I want to give a big shout out to our producer who is doing this out of basically the goodwill of his heart. James is doing great, by the way. I spoke with him. He's doing fine. So thanks again and for checking out the episode. There was some other stuff I wanted to talk about, but I guess we'll get to it next week. Poilievre just kind of slayed it. Actually, if we want to get into it a little bit, Pierre Poilievre did a press conference where he was basically just digging into Justin Trudeau for the inflation. Pierre Poilievre's back, baby. He kind of got demoted. He went from Minister of the Economy into Minister of Jobs or something. No, finance to jobs, and then back to finance. So he's back to the finance minister again. I guess he basically honed his claws in the background for so long, just ready. He's the attack dog, man. It's hard to keep that guy down. I respect it. So he did this press conference, kind of just called Chrystia Freeland a chump. Said that Trudeau was a chump. The basic kind of Pierre Poilievre stuff. You should go check it out. I think I might have tweeted it on my Twitter, which you should also follow. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you very much, and goodbye.